Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we finally get the opportunity to review the new Papo Gorgosaurus. This is one that I'm sure many of you have been out there waiting for, myself included. I was so excited when I got the box that I absolutely tore it open and have to review it straight away for you guys. So here we are right now. At first glance, I will say that the Gorgosaurus looks beautiful, just like I expected it to look. All the images that I had seen of other people's really look nice, so I was really excited to get my own and take a look at it here with you guys. One thing, however, I do want to say straight away is that a lot of people had said that it balances really quite well, shockingly, for the awkward position. Mine does not. I don't know why. If I press the feet down and bend them a little bit, he will stand, but as you can see, he slowly shifts back and then eventually falls back down onto the tail. I don't know if maybe it's just warping from the heat when it was shipped to me or some other issue, but I'm probably going to try the hot water cold water trick and see if I can get the legs maybe in position that it will balance out, because I think it would still look really quite cool if it were in fact balanced. But for right now, unfortunately, he just kind of chills on his tail. But anyway, I'm still super excited to look at this, so let's get a closer look. So, starting up here with the head sculpt. The head sculpt, without question, looks really nice. I think they did a very good job sculpting out the likeness of a Gorgosaurus, and in fact, it actually kind of looks like the Walking with Dinosaurs version, just basically from the head sculpt in general. Definitely has a strong likeness to that. The paint application that I'm looking at right away, which was one thing that I was extremely concerned about due to the poor paint application that we had received on the 2019 Allosaurus from Papo, really does look quite good. However, at first glance I noticed quite a few areas of sloppiness on mine. If you look, the eye has a little bit of sloppiness from the yellow that ran underneath. I may try to fix. There's also a little bit of the pink here on the lip, basically, from the inside of the mouth that has run out. And then if we look over here at this eye, you can also see some sloppiness with that eye as well. So there are a few downsides as far as the paint apps go, but for the most part, it is still extremely nice looking. But as far as the sculpt work goes, you can see that the detail all around the eye looks really quite nice. The crests also look really good, and you can see lots of cracks and crevices within the crests, really giving it some beautiful detail. And it has been hit with a nice dark wash to help that detail really come out in brilliant fashion. We've got the nostrils sculpted out really nicely, and they kind of have like a pinkish color around them, just to elaborate them a little bit. And there is so much color actually just within the face. You can see just tons of different variations of browns and stuff, and even lighter, almost linen type colors right there. And then you've got some blacks and some browns again. Really nice variation of color, giving this an extremely realistic appearance overall when it comes to the skin tone. You've also got some beautiful scaling all over the head, really nice scaling on the lower jaw there, but in general up here, the fine scaling, if we can get it to focus, it really looks beautiful, honestly. Without question, there's just a ton of sculpt work gone into the head sculpt of this dinosaur figure. The jaw is articulated, of course. It can open really quite wide, and as usual with Papo, the jaws work perfectly. You can open it to pretty much whatever distance you would like, even to the point of being extremely wide. The inside of the mouth is really nicely painted. There's lots of beautiful detail inside as well. Definitely a very realistic color. It has sort of a slight glossy look, but unfortunately it doesn't include the gloss that we had seen on, I believe the Allosaurus had a nice gloss on the inside of the mouth, and you don't really see that here with the Gorgosaurus. I don't know why they chose not to do that, and that is a little bit of a downside compared to what I was hoping for, but it still looks pretty darn nice, I will say that. There's also been a nice wash put on the inside of the mouth, again to bring out the detail really nicely. Really helps to see the detail on the tongue and everything. Beautiful job done in there. You can also see the teeth are painted pretty nicely. There's not really any sloppiness. I mean, a little tiny bit, but for the most part, the teeth look really good, and the sculpt work of the teeth in general also looks really quite nice. As we run down the neck, you can see just how nicely done the scaling is. The scales are really beautifully sculpted all over the place. So many different sizes in the scales. You've got some nice skin wrinkling going on here in the throat, and you can also see a few wrinkles here in the neck as the Gorgosaurus has its head turned to the left, so it would be bunching the skin up right there in the neck. You can see that some striping starts to appear right here, along with some ridges that run along the spinal column, and then right here as well. As you come down here into the arms, you can see the shoulder blade really nicely protruding from the skin there. The arms are bent in near the body. You can see some nice wrinkles there in the joint of the arm. Really nicely sculpted hands. For sure, they look really good. The nails are painted pretty nicely as well. There's a little sloppiness in that one, but for the most part they look really nice. They do darken the arms, the coloration of the arms, similar to what they do here with the legs. So just to continue on with some color variation, you can see that the sculpting and detailing of the skin texture looks really nice in the stomach region. Nice skin folding here again in the lower part of the stomach. And you can really take note of just how beautiful the color variation is. Again, it starts out with this nice darker brown, almost like a grayish brown, and then it just gradually transitions to a lighter brown, really nicely lightened down here in the stomach region with a few spots. And then you get down here on the underneath to a really beautiful light coloration, even some color variation in the chest and in the lower part of the thighs and everything down here. Really nicely painted for sure. And you've got the hip bone here, beautifully elaborated from the skin. Again, those ridges continue along, and you see that really nice striping pattern there that runs all over the dinosaur. You've also got some stripes that run down the leg. You can again pick up on just how incredibly nice the scale work here is in the leg. You've got some nice musculature there as well. Really beautiful bulging calf muscles as the dinosaur's in kind of a squatting position, so it would be flexing the muscles quite a bit there in the leg. So it's really nice attention to detail. And the feet, in my opinion, look excellent, and due to that nice dark wash that they've included, it really looks very realistic. The dew claws we'll see over here. You can see the dew claws are painted, as are all the claws in general of the feet, and they look really nice. Some very nice skin wrinkling going on here right behind the thigh, kind of showing the movement again of the dinosaur. Even the scale work on the underside looks really beautiful, and there's just so many variations of color included, giving this such an incredibly realistic look. And then as you run out the length of the tail, you can again see that the skin texture looks really beautiful, and it does come out to a slight curve there, and then a strong curve at the tip, and I think it looks really quite nice. Then looking at the opposing side, I really again love the coloration of the face. I think in general the coloration of this dinosaur just looks fantastic, but specifically the face looks so nice. I love that they've also darkened the area around the eye, similar to what you see on a Jurassic Park T-Rex, but I think it looks so good on this Gorgosaurus. As we come down the neck, again you can see less going on as far as folding of the skin in this area due to the fact that now the skin would be stretching with the dinosaur looking to its left. But you can take note of just how incredibly nice the skin texture there is in the neck. As you move down here again into the shoulder, you can take note of the shoulder blade. And there is the very nicely sculpted arm and hand area with that beautiful wash, darkening the area quite a bit. Again, I really do like this coloration, this light brown that they've included. And I do like that they've also included these spots in the stomach region. I think that really gives it a nice, very beautiful appearance in general as far as the paint application goes. The skin texture again looks great. As we run up here into the hip, you can see the hip once again elaborated from the skin. Beautiful musculature again, and as I said on the other side with the squatting, it's going to be really flexing the muscles to hold itself up, and you can see that brilliantly shown here throughout the sculpt of the leg sculpt here when it comes to this Papo Gorgosaurus. The feet look great on this side as well, again given that beautiful dark wash to really nicely bring out all the sculpt and detail that is included, and there is a lot of it. And then you can run out the length of the tail. Again, you can really pick up on all the beautiful scaling due to that dark wash, and it in general looks really beautiful. I think they've done a great job on the paint application of this one for sure, and it definitely looks very realistic. It doesn't look like paint, it looks like body color, and it really looks very natural. One other downside, however, to this figure, and this is something that I actually saw on Dino Scream Reviews when he had reviewed the Gorgosaurus, is that it has like a good area of glue here. You can see a really glossy appearance of glue where the head was connected to the neck, and I don't know why that's there, honestly. It's very distracting, and I'm not a big fan of that, and I really wish they had done a better job of hiding the glue and making the seam where the head connects a little less conspicuous. But unfortunately it is there, and we'll just have to deal with it. It's not that big of a deal, it's not a huge downside, but I think it takes away from the figure just a little bit, unless you're just going to assume that for some reason it has a little wet spot there. But other than that, I think it really looks quite beautiful. Now, I know some people kind of had an issue with this due to the pose that it is in, because it's in kind of a crouching position. So some people thought that maybe it was going to the bathroom or something like that. Me personally, I don't really see it that way. I kind of get the feeling that the pose is maybe the dinosaur is in kind of a crouching position and there's a larger predator or even a herbivore or something here, and maybe it's coming in for like a bite. It's crouching just before it jumps up to grab a bite. That's sort of the feeling that I get from the sculpt. I don't really think that it's meant to imply that it's going to the bathroom or anything. I personally really do quite like the pose. As far as the size goes, if we can get him to push him down a little bit here and make him stand for a minute, we'll be able to measure him. So for a length from the head to the tail, you are going to see this at about 7¼ inches, or about 18½ centimeters. And for a height, would be the highest point would be right here, probably in the neck, about 3 inches or 7½ centimeters. For a size comparison, now you can most definitely tell looking here at the Papo Gorgosaurus next to the Papo T-Rex that this is definitely a small figure. In comparison to most Papo figures, it is really quite small, shockingly small. I'm not sure what's up with the small size, as they do pull this off sometimes with a species that probably should be a little bigger, like their Carnotaurus or their Dilophosaurus. For some reason they make them really quite small. I don't know why, but it still is a really beautiful model. I would have preferred it to be a little larger, especially when you do see how big it is in comparison to the Pentaceratops of this year. But at the same time, it's still really nicely sculpted and beautiful in appearance, even for the smaller stature. So this 2019 Papo Gorgosaurus is just off the charts beautiful. As far as the sculpt work goes, it is incredibly nice. There is not an area on this dinosaur that doesn't look like it has been highly detailed and sculpted to the complete max. There is just beautiful scale work and really nice skin texture all over the place. Everything about the dinosaur, from the movement to the muscles bulging, has been brilliantly shown here in the sculpt of the figure. The paint application is also incredibly nice, way nicer than I even expected it to be. I think they 100% delivered when it came to the paint scheme and the paint job of this. It's not an overly flashy, bright looking dinosaur, which is exactly what I would expect. It would be a darker coloration, because honestly it's probably going to need to ambush dinosaurs, and being a very bright color is not going to help that. So this darker coloration, in my opinion, is a pretty realistic coloration, and I think they did a great job on the color choice and on the paint application in general. The only downsides at all that I can think of with it is the slight bit of sloppiness with the paint when it came to the eyes and that one little area on the lip, which isn't a big deal, but the eyes are a little bit more distracting, I think, than anywhere else. However, I should hopefully be able to fix those and touch them up a little bit, even though I really don't like messing with the original figure. Sometimes if it's just a little ordeal, like just a spot of paint in the wrong spot, I'm just going to have to do it, because otherwise I think it's absolutely beautiful when it comes to the paint application. The fact that it doesn't balance may be just due to it warping on its way here, but I don't entirely know for sure. If any of you have received this figure already, please let me know in the comments if yours balances out, because mine at this time does not. The only other downside is the fact that there is that glue on the back of the neck, but that's not a huge deal. It's just a slight distraction. However, without question, this is an incredibly nice Papo figure, and easily one of the best, if not the best, of 2019. So if you want to pick this up for yourself, I will include a link down in the description to head to everythingdinosaur.com, where I picked up mine, so you can go ahead and buy this beautiful Papo Gorgosaurus for yourself. I highly recommend that you do, because it truly is an absolute work of art when you see it here in person. So make sure you check the description, click that link, go buy this Papo Gorgosaurus. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified of future videos, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.